Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is pretty obvious by now that there's been a bit of a reaction to the Cyberpunk collaboration. And I would say the definition of this reaction is a little bit binary. You're either very, very, very happy, you're a fan of what's in store, you're a fan of the events, you're a fan of the rebate, you're a fan of the design of like the gacha and everything like that, or you are a hater. And one thing that I wanted to do today was actually break down and discuss how polarized those reactions are in the space, whether or not they appear to be from maybe other parts of other gacha communities, i.e. astroturfing from Hoyoverse players, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, specifically HSR players upset about their Fate collab, and so on and so forth, and to kind of just review the whole situation, all of the arguments, all of the different points being brought forth for why Kuro's greedy, the most predatory bastard company ever, why the Cyberpunk collab is 500 times worse than the Fate collab, and also like the PGR Devil May Cry 5 collab, and the alternative side of this actually being one of the better collabs in gacha history, the insane expectations we've been getting from both astroturfing and entitled as fuck players, and of course, naturally, the actual realistic numbers, investment, and of course, resources required by a player to actually get what's in the collab. The units, weapons, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead, let's focus our attention over here to some of the biggest detractions, right? To some of the biggest naysayers when it comes to this collaboration. And I think it all starts from like right over here. The spending event, right? Or really kind of like the banner design, all of that. You'll see it in Sweet Dream Tuning over here. So basically, this is like the prime spending event, the rebate event that's going to occur in this update. We get about a raw 20 pulls, just numerically 20 pulls with more and Astrite on top of it for the exclusive collab banner from the events. And you can see over here in Sweet Dream Tuning, as you pull a certain number of times, you do a certain number of convenes, you'll unlock both pulls at the different milestones and even a selectable dupe between Lucy and Rebecca over at 160. When you count in that there's 15 on the way to this 160, and of course the 20 you get from the events, not counting the Astrite, that basically makes it so that 160 minus 35, you really realistically need about 125 pulls before the collaboration, and not counting any of the Astrite from the 3.4 patch, you need about 125 pulls to get this redeemable character. Or this redeemable character do. This is the viewpoint over here that I'm going to contest from some of the detractors that I saw in my comments section. Let's take a look. Let's read some of the breakdowns over here. My biggest issue with the banner is that if you don't have 150 pulls, you just cannot pull, because losing the 50-50 would mean sending your Astrites down the drain, as the loss won't carry over to the next banner. This is absolutely correct. However, were you expecting something different for a collaboration? This implies over here that the only way they weren't going to complain about this is if the collab banner was permanent. Because guess what you can just say? Imagine the collab banner for Cyberpunk doesn't have a 50-50. This message just becomes, my biggest issue with the banner is that if you don't have 75 pulls, you just cannot pull. Because not getting the character would mean sending your Astrites down the drain, as the pity won't carry forward to the next banner. So this issue over here isn't about the banners being a 50-50. That's just baiting people into thinking the 50-50 is somehow the problem. The issue over here that they're complaining about is the fact that the collaboration banner isn't permanent. Because it's not about the number of pulls you have to put in. It's about the fact that the loss or the investment won't carry forward until you reach the marker that you need to. But guys, what else did you expect for a fucking collab? Did you expect the collab to be permanent? Maybe, because that might have been something that Hoyoverse is like sort of doing right now. But guess what we figured out about the Fate collab? It like became permanent. Nobody expected Archer and Saber from Fate to be fucking permanent. It just ended up like sort of happening when the banners never disappeared. Permanent collabs aren't really like a thing in the gacha space. I think Hoyo's the only one that's done it, and it's just for HSR. HSR is an exception. Alloy is a Genshin collab, and she's not fucking permanent. So I guess the take over here really just is, oh no, the collab banner is going to end, and so as a result, the pulls that I put into the collab banner, they're going to be useless because the collab banner won't be here. What did you fucking expect? This is what I mean by I don't know if this is astroturfing or not, because at a baseline, these people are just complaining about the fact that the collab is temporary, which is... I don't even know how that's a top upvoted fucking comment. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Now, though, we need to have a bit of a conversation over here. And that's going to be kind of like on the secondary part. That's a part of this. And that is how the Coral Shop actually works in this collab. These are some of the top upvoted posts that you see over here in regards to like the resources and the custom pulls that are for the collab banner. The collab banner uses new exclusive pull currencies. You can't use any of these for the collab. You can see over here, you can't use your afterglow corals, blah, 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 so on and so forth. That's not going to actually work out for you. And you can see that there's been some big responses across the space. Some of these individuals that have gone ahead, they spent all of their prior astrite counts. And so as a result, they're sitting over here with like pillaged astrite balances and a fuck ton of yellow pulls. And probably like the kind of like stabbing thing that's, you know, happening on top of this, right, is the fact that support isn't actually going to go ahead and refund the people that did that. I'm gonna be honest over here. This is like a self-inflicted wound. Yes, it sucks that this is happening to some people, but this is kind of like natural selection, because it's like a matter of you didn't have to press the button. There was no reason to. You had no benefit from pressing that button, but like you decided to press it. It's like a child's fascination with a burning hot stove and like a pan on that burning hot stove. Like the child knows their mom has told them 400 times, don't touch it, you're gonna get burned. The retarded kid always touches it, gets burned, and starts crying. It is like a phenomenon that's known in like just like human history. The child will always burn themselves on hot shit even after being explicitly told not to fucking do that. And apparently, I guess support might be able to allow people to convert. Who knows? Who actually knows? So, yeah. It's like converting your $100 in cash into a $100 McDonald's gift card. That's an amazing way to describe it. Yeah. Now your cash, it's still worth $100, but you can only spend that shit at McDonald's. Why'd you do it? Because you felt like it. Did you need to? No, because you could just take your raw $100 in tender and spend that at McDonald's anyways, but you just decided you wanted the gift card. And now the collab's at Wendy's, so you're fucked. You can kind of see what's going on over here. I could feel bad for them. I can hope that their stuff gets switched, but it's a matter of, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do this? What was the benefit of doing this? So you could take a photo? This guy did this for a Reddit post because he wanted to flex in a Reddit post. That's the only reason. You wanted that sweet karma. Well, you got it now. You got it. This is clout chasing is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. Clout chasing is real fucking dangerous. You had no reason to do this, but you decided to do this. It's a self-inflicted wound, but I do hope you're able to get healed. But I can't really feel bad for this, and I can't blame Kuro or say Kuro's the issue over here. You didn't have to do this. And now, though, it's time for us to have a bit of a switch over here, and that's to talk about the pull counts, right? It's time to talk about the pull numbers. And that's going to require us to go back to Sweet Dream tuning. A lot of people think that this 160 over here, some of the arguments that I've been hearing is that this 160 is very unachievable. It's way too high of a target. Motherfucker. What did you expect? Like, did you expect to pull less than 135 times? Sorry, 125. Because you get 35 for fucking free from the rebate as you're on this journey over here. So you really need 125 pulls saved up for the collab. When there's a 50-50 in this game, an 80 pull pity, and then the weapon's an 80 pull pity, how would you have less than 125 for the collab? This isn't like this Archer light code situation, guys. And this is the funniest part, is these HSR players try to compare this and say this is worse than the Archer light code. But brother, this shit required you to have 200 pulls in the update. And yes, let's take a look at the bookkeeping. This was 3.4, right? Bro, in HSR 3.3, you had 103 pulls. And then in 3.4, 92. So even if you add up the totals From the entire 3.3 and 3.4 update, it's not enough for the Archer Light code. You want to know when you would have had to have been saving? Since the Castorus Anniversary patch. You had to have been saving since the Castorus Anniversary patch to reach that 200. You want to know what you need to reach this 125 in Wuwa? And we know it's a 125, right? For this first marker over here. Bro, you just need to have played during the previous patch and then play a little bit of this patch. The work in process over here means that this 72.7 is not even like close to like the accurate number. Bro, there was 154.4 in the past update. Yes, you can take out like maybe 30 or 40 of them and say those were like radiant tides or weapon or forging tides or whatever. Bro, when you only need 125 for the collab, remember that. Bro, you could take out like 50 from here and you're still good. You could take out like fucking 50 because there was a total of like 100 pulls just from Astrite in this update. Add a Welkin or a BP on top of this, bro, you're not even trying to reach 125. And that's what's required to get this first marker over here. And everything beyond that, bro, you're doing 40 pulls for 5 of them in rebate, then 80 for 5, and then you're going a whole fucking 260 above this 160, a whole 260 above it for the second dude. Nobody even thinks that these are real. Everyone knows the real pulling event stops over here, and that requires 125 fucking pulls. That's not a lot. That's enough to win a 50-50 and then pull the character's weapon. Or if you lost the 50-50, it's enough to get the character. Kuro has literally put the markers, the threshold for this rebate spending event on the most logical way any person would approach the collaboration, so the most possible people benefit from it. You do realize them putting this shit at 160, right, in this manner is one of that is how most people's spending is going to line up, because probably most people saved up for the character on a 150-50 and a collab. Minimum. If you were interested in the collab at all, it's probably a minimum of like 120, 130 pulls. And if you don't have that many heading into the collab, I don't think you were serious about pulling any of the characters anyways. Because like, what? Were you expecting to go in with fucking 50 pulls and like get everything you wanted out of it? Most people would say that's a pipe dream, but when I read the comment section over here, people are schizoing out about not having 150 before a collab that was announced a year in advance, but 150 isn't even right here. It's 125. So people are schizoing out about not having 125 pulls ready for a collab announced a year in advance. Bro, 125 isn't even enough to guarantee a regular character in this game. And people are out here banging the walls. Kill Kuro Games. They made me save 125 pulls. That's like the least amount of pulls we've ever needed to save for a unit before. Bro, a lost 50-50 requires like 140 pulls in this game. To get the character on a lost 50-50, you need like 140. And you're schizoing out over a 125? You can tell the people that are mad here, I don't think they play the game. Because how can you be freaking out over 125 pulls? You have to be LARPing. You have to be fucking LARPing, astroturfing, just saying a bunch of shit at this point. Because how is 125 pulls for a collab unreal? Unrealistic. When that's what you need to get the dupe. Because, like I said before, there's 15 over here that you get from the rebate. So subtract 15 from 160. And then guess what? 15 from logging the fuck in over here. And then you get 5 more. Remember, I said we're not counting the asteroid in here. So that's actually an additional pull on top, most likely, right? Then you get 5 from doing like this fucking goofy ass check-in shit, bro. Limited time tasks. Bro, that's... You literally see 35 right there, so you need 125 to round out to 160. Great. And if you want to spend a little bit of cash, spend 15 bucks for fucking 12 pulls. Spend another 15 bucks for 12 weapon pulls. Spend 5 bucks for 5 pulls over here. It's no big deal. And then afterwards, right? Even if you win earlies, guys, people out here were getting mad about like, oh, what happens if you win an early? Well, then great. you'll have this coral shop that you can decide, hey, since I won early, I'm going to spend all the coral over here on shit like tuners, transducers, echo skins, custom stuff for the collab, weekly boss mats, forgery challenge materials. This is like an upgraded store. We don't have this shit in the Afterglow Coral Shop normally. So this is a little bit of like a double rebate event, where even if you have extra leftover pulls, right, you can just get the currency and then spend that shit here, bro. When you want to know one of the big things you can buy? More fucking pulls. And then maybe if you somehow end up with like 480, you can save up for one of the dupes in the store. But that's like one of the only places you can get it. I don't understand where the hate for the collab is coming from. I'm just going to be honest over here. And when I see stupid ass comments like this, where it's like, man, I can't believe they dared to have the same gacha system they've had since release on this collab. Guys, how are people out here talking about the 50 fucking 50 of all fucking things? The 50-50? You expected the company to just rewire their gacha system and put it a new one for the fucking collab? Because you want to know what the funniest fucking shit is? This is how I know people are LARPers. You know the PGR collab? The lauded PGR DMZ collab. PGR has a system where their characters are guaranteed, but their weapons have an 80% chance. They copied the same exact rules for their DMC collab on all their baseline banners. You can see over here, right? 80% rate in the 6-star pool for Dante's signature weapon. I didn't see nobody complaining about this. Wait, where was everybody that was supposed to be saying, wait, why is there an 80-20 on the weapon banner? Why is the 80-20 on the weapon banner? Why isn't the 80-20? Why isn't the weapon guaranteed? Where were all the people? Oh, but why is everyone complaining about the character banner in Wuwa's collab being the same as every other character banner Wuwa's ever had, when DMC's weapon banner is the same as every PGR weapon banner they've ever had? Oh, and you want to know something else? I don't see people skits. Wait. Wasn't this banner also a 50-50? Wait, was it 100% guarantee on this banner? Was it 100% guarantee on the Archer banner? And also, right, we all remember this, right? When you try to pull this thing on the HSR banner, there's a 75-25 on this, right? Did anyone complain about the HSR characters, the fake characters weapon banners having a 75-25? Oh, but aren't the Wuwa character collab weapons, aren't they 100%? Oh, yeah, they are. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Yeah, all the weapons are guaranteed, guys. So suddenly, Wuwa using the same rules as their baseline banner. It's a W when it's for the weapon, and it's the worst thing ever because they have a 50-50 on the fucking character. Yet HSR, 50-50 on the character banner plus 75-25 on their weapon. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful. How could anyone dare? How could anyone dare talk badly about this game? Bro, this shit is just pathetic. You know for sure that this shit is astroturfed, and you know for sure that these complaints are so fucking fake. Because how in God's name have we gone to this point where people are schizoing out this hard over the design of this gacha when A, it requires less pulls, it requires you to have saved up for only one fucking patch before the collab, despite having a whole fucking year. Oh, and guess what? 3.2 was the most skippable patch in gacha history, so you might as well have saved up all the fucking pulls from this update, because God knows nobody pulled Sigrika. So you really have been saving since 3.2, let's be entirely honest here. So you have all of this shit going on, right? You need to save up for less time. You need less actual fucking pulls. And then also you get a rebate as well. So it's even less pulls as a whole. And when you actually get down to pulling, it's a realistic number. Isn't 200 in HSR just retarded? Bro, the pity in this game is like you typically get a 5-star at like 70 something, right? Imagine that you win a 50-50 and then you win it early. Bro, you're at like 140 out of 200. Bro, it's such an awkward It's such an awkward, like, phase, right? Isn't it just strange to be at 140 out of 200 pulls? Great, now you gotta go to like 60 out of like 80 on just like a random banner, just throwing shit, building pity to get the rest of it. That's why having this shit at 160 over here is like just so much fucking better, because it's actually realistic to what a player's actually going to like fucking pull for. And yes, right, you're probably gonna get your character, and you're probably also gonna get your weapon on a 150-50, and you might be at like 140 out of 160. Damn, that sucks. You're gonna have to go spend 10 pulls for your dupe, assuming that you want it. But then even if you do that, bro, well, guess what? On those pulls that you're doing, you'll have all the extra resources that you can decide to spend over here. And yes, sure, maybe it would have been nicer and stuff like this if like everything was permanent, if everything used the same system. But guess what, guys? The company might decide, hey, we want to make money for the collab that we've been working on for a year. The content in this collaboration is entirely optional. You don't need any of these characters, and I'm pretty sure you will never need any of these characters. And it's kind of just like a nice thing. And my personal take is that unless the Cyberpunk characters are meta warping must pulls that break everything in the fucking game and are like retarded in how like absurdly strong they are, then I don't think it like legitimately matters that Kuro's decided, hey, we don't want people to have saved up resources from the start of the game and be able to spend all of it on this collab, so we make literally $0 from those players. Maybe that's what they've decided, right? Because guess what all of these savers can do? Guys, you want to know what all of these savers can do? They can just take all of these tides, everything that they saved up, and just spend it on the next Sentinel. Like, guys, this doesn't mean, if you did this doesn't mean that all your resources disappeared. Like, it'll still be on your account, and it'll be in the 3.5, 3.6, 3.7 update. People are out here pretending like these people exchange these for standard pulls or something. Bro, these are yellow pulls. These are limited pulls. You'll be able to spend them on, believe me when I say this, yeah, like, there's gonna be another unit like Imith that comes out that's like really cool, and like you'll be able to spend the shit there. Is it really genuinely like we need to kill Kuro Games because for the collab that's been announced a year in advance, right, that Kuro's decided, hey, we actually want to ensure that we make money from this thing because we've worked on it for a fucking year and we also did a really good job. Guys, this is also one of the other bitter pills that I feel like people need to swallow. You're allowed to be less mad about a company. You're allowed to be less mad at a company for, I don't know, being like a little bit more greedy or asking for like a little bit more or coming with more restrictions if they're actually delivering a good product. Yeah, because if you've seen the content in the collab, you actually looked at the version trailer, you saw the live stream, you actually saw what was going on, you would know that like visual fidelity wise, story writing wise, modeling, rigging, all of that, there's so much work put into this collaboration than any other collaboration that's like ever been made in the gacha space and maybe the gaming space. And like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to use up my fucking Afterglow Coral. Man, it sucks, but like I can see why they did it, because you want to know how much Afterglow Coral I have, guys? I can redeem like 500 pulls with my Afterglow Coral. I just have that much saved up, but I could redeem, I have like 3,000. Bro, what's 3,000 divided by 8? How many pulls is that? Great, I got 375 in the chamber, bro. I have 375 Radiant Tides in the chamber that I could just go for. If Kuro's decided for this collab they've been working on for a year that I'm not allowed to spend all of those, but I can just take those 375 pulls and use them on any other unit and weapon that the company will ever release other than this one-time collaboration event that's been announced for a year on end. Like, guys, it's not like I'm never going to be able to use these. It's just for the collab. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But maybe you want to throw a gasket over it. And if you do want to do that, this is the one thing that I have to say for you. If this was Hoyoverse, if this was a dog shit collab, if this was the Fate collab round 2 with silenced, muted characters, dog shit looking designs, awful animation, stuff like that, and it just looks poor, low budget, low fidelity, cash grab, and you did all this greedy shit on top of it, then yeah, I tell you to freak out. I tell you to start schizoing out. I tell you to start throwing shit on the walls. But when this is the best looking collab ever, with a ton of stuff that looks absolutely insane, and you're getting like the smallest road bumps ever that are really not going to affect like 99% of players, I really don't have anything to say other than like, it's a little bit like, get over it, bro. Get over it. It's not that big of a deal. But like I said before, I think that there's a big magnifying glass being put onto these issues, being put onto these situations, right, by all these other gacha communities. And they are raising the temperature like crazy. We know that this happened during last year's anniversary. We know that this happened during this year's anniversary. But I think part of the fact that this year's anniversary discussion, the Doom posting, all of that, felt rather muted, I think it's going back to 100 over here. Because I think a lot of people have realized the patch after Wuwa's anniversary is like the real anniversary. And so this is naturally why we're seeing so much bullshit right fucking now. And it sucks, but it is what it is. But hopefully the breakdown that we done today, all the different points, all the different arguments, it's made it a lot more clear just how good this collab is and just how overblown a lot of the narrative, a lot of the discussion has been very recently. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.